Hi everyone, welcome to another live session with us. For today, we decided to talk about the issue that was, for us, that was the big milestone, especially for me. I had a trouble maybe overcoming the trust concerns that I had after previous relationship, previous connections, and also how I learned to stay open for whatever comes next. That the separation of twin flames, it's not the end, and there is still a long road in terms of being in a journey as a twin flame. So hopefully with our example, it will be easier for you to kind of overcome those issues, because very often those are based on the psychological um, issues that you had, or some concerns or some fears. So that's just a little bit background on our topic today. Dia, you can begin.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back again here. And that was actually a topic on one of the comments of one of our video, and talking about the trust and how you're trusting the journey. But where is that coming from, though? Where does this begin in there, especially when you are in a new connection with this? You're learning that over the time that those connections, they are coming into you so you can evolve. You are not doing it with one connection, another connection comes in, you're facing the same issues. Second connection, third connection, fourth connection. However, your things are in there. And looking at in this is basically you're running from the things that you need to do. And when you're learning to trust within yourself, and why did this keep occurring into your life, then you begin to understanding and trusting yourself, but trusting within the journey as it is. And that trust, now that it's built within you, you're understanding that no matter what, you need to grow, you need to mature, you need to evolve on these positions. And talking about trust issue with the new connections, there is a lot of things. It will trigger everything out of you. So basically, you're gonna be started from the ground zero, beginning and there, and it's like, oh well, I trust the previous connection or the more previous relationships or our previous things, and so on and so on, until you don't learn that the reason is inside of you. When you fix the reason of trust in there, then you're not gonna de-link anymore with that trust in the connection, especially with the new connection, because you're not bringing the old experience, you're not bringing the old situations within the new. You're not dragging that in there. And this is what today I'm kind of like giving tips and example and so on. And I want to give the mic to Paulina. She can share some things with her own
Mm.
experience about this. Then
Yeah,
after that,
first I
I'll
want
do
to
it.
say
Yeah.
hi to Erica and Lorna. Thanks for coming. Um, I think first I want to just maybe to try to talk about what was causing those issues with trusting in this next connection in the first place, and I I took my time, and I was thinking about it quite a bit. Even when we got connected, I started realizing that things are getting a little bit more serious, but at the same time, this common sense came in, and it was kind of remembering this all these expectations that I had from the previous connection, that it looked so perfect, that everything was going so smooth, and it was supposed to be. It was meant to be. And in this place, when it happens for you, especially for the first time, that's the most emotional connection that you probably have with some person, and it happens for the first time, you just jump right inside to the connection, and you don't expect anything bad to happen. Like, you just, I think especially for those connections that are the ignition, they are just so blinding that you're just going right in, and you're just sure, because of course, like, that it's gonna be forever. But once this separation phase occurs, and you kind of face this reality that someone just broke this trust, and it's not to judge anyone's actions, because along the journey, you see, that was just, people were not ready, we still had some things to do, and that's okay. But this memory stays, this broken trust, this pain that you've experienced because someone really failed. I think this is something that it just leaves very big scar on your heart. And I think that's something that you once you opened once, especially if you had troubles with getting into your emotions and before, as I was very withdrawn emotionally. So that was like the first experience that I truly opened to someone and triggered all these emotions and of love, and then it was really broken, cut. It was kind of painful. So it took me a lot of time to process and just decide to try again. And, without having expectations that it will be forever or not, there is, I think the whole mindset has to change because, there is no clarity, never, ever. As much as I wanted to get the clear picture that, yes, that's the connection that it's meant to be, it's going to be forever. You don't have it because you remember that you cannot never be sure about what's going to happen in the future. It's more you're focusing more towards the present and more towards the action that the person is doing at this present moment. So that was
Yeah.
a long one.
Yeah. Hi, Erica. Hi, Lorna. JCKCPA. Glad to see you. Happy New Year to all of you. And Lorianne, thank you. Thank you for coming in. And of course, yeah, Happy New Year. Talking about the distrust in there is a lot of things you're gonna be working on the trust for it, and your own insecurities that it's inside of you from your life experience of trust, with your relationships with trust. First of all, in there, whoa, oh man, what is this energy? Somebody doesn't want to talk about trust.
Just
Oh,
speak your truth.
this it's not mine. I feel that it's not my energy. It's like ooh, when you do so many lives, when that it's outside source energy is coming in there. Because one of the best laws here, first of all, to get us this great, it is about the journey itself. There is three things: trust, surrender, and let it go. And if you one of those three things is not right, the other three is not right either. All of them they're not right. If you have a broken trust, then you're not gonna be able to let it go and move on. If you don't let it go, then you don't trust it if the thing's gonna happen the way it is. You're not surrendering. So the other is surrender and the trust. You have some issues in there. If you don't surrender to the current present moment state of time of love that is, then you have issues of letting go of the old that harming the new in there, and you don't trust in the journey that it's coming ahead out of you. So those three, even at the beginning of the journey in there, I spoke about it. And when you're getting into a new connections in there's going to be this moment of time when you build the trust within the journey because you're understanding the energies, you're understanding the things in there. But since you built yourself differently, you learn from the previous relationship. This is why it's very crucial to take time to grieve after your lost connection or the previous time, but heal yourself, heal that connection. Okay, it wasn't sentence, it wasn't harm. Yeah, you're gonna have the scars from the learning. Yeah, that's how we learn. But looking at in there, you don't bring that issues into the new connection because you're trusting that the universe brings that connections within you. Now, the trust within the universe is going to be able to help you to navigate big time within the new connection because the universe says, like, no, it's not. It's only in your mind. Looking within yourself, you're seeing the issues from the previous connection here. Look at it in the present. Are those issues are there? No, they're not. Why are you thinking like that? Oh, you have a fear that things may repeat again. Whose fear is? Is your partner's fear or is your own fears? And now when you see in yourself, you are afraid, you fear. And the universe says like, no, this time is different. This time is not the same. This time is you have to face your fears in there and understand that that fears is illusion and you need to trust on that connection. Share some things that going on inside of you, and then you're gonna find out the beauty and the power of when you trust me and you trust your partner and it all work together. You're gonna find that trust in the new connections. That's how this is gonna be processing within yourself. And during that process, the old connection, you will understand why did they didn't trusted you, because they had insecurities as you did within yourself. Okay, so the previous connection, if it didn't work out, if they had a trust issues, or you trust them so much and they didn't trust it, there was no equal give and take. That is going to tell you if there is no equal give and take, there will be no of this, because the equal give and take within trust, equal give and take with everything in there, that when you build the proper connections and your previous connection didn't work out because one way or another there was not equality in there, there was not that give and take energies for it is not the equilibrium. Did I pronounce it right? We've been trying to use that word. We've been talking a lot about this equilibrium within anything. We're gonna do some video on that soon for it, but we share in our experience, because when you have the equality of give and take, how's your trust level? When things works out naturally, and the energy of the evolution, which is the third energy, it comes in and also makes this equal give and take, because you do your work and the evolution is giving you more when you process in there. How's your trust level now? How you trusting the energies for real, because you do a real work in the real time in the real presence of now, and then that trust inside of it is coming in, and then the trust within the new energy, the new connections in there, is just blooming as it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'll give it to you
You
back, the
opened
mic.
yeah, you opened a few topics. Like first, I like that you shared about this brief moment that really everyone, and that's your work. Like within this, trying to regain your trust or just accept that it's at some point you will have to take a risk. If there is some connection that comes to you after, let's say, you had experience with your twin, original twin, whatever is the case, and there is some new connection. If you fail this time, you may have another one, and then if you again have some trust issues and don't decide to go into this, like there will be another connection. So for me it's helped me to first process this grief, this pain that you've experienced, because I think even if you try to escape to spirituality maybe too fast, in the separation phase, and you kind of try to reprogram your mind, it's like, oh, it's all illusion and all this, I don't feel, I'm not my emotion and all this stuff. It's good approach. I mean, it gives you this the whole picture of the journey itself. But I think as humans, we have to take time to process whatever happened to us on emotional level, not to escape from emotions because, oh, I'm so spiritual, I can just detach from my emotions and close this door. But honestly, if someone had the tendencies to do it in the past, based on their personality, based on their how they were um, bring by their parents, I think you should especially, take your time to observe your emotions. Don't escape from them because it's uncomfortable, but really take a time, analyze what happened, and just accept, this is a part of the journey. And the more you will start seeing that, life is not just all beautiful and sometimes it's painful, and you kind of accept that, of course, like you have to be ready for any scenarios, negative and positives. But if you process this experience, this painful experience of someone just let you down once, you're like, okay, I've been through this and I'm here. I'm still here. I'm doing fine. Once you process that, you can really see, okay, I've processed my emotion. It was hurtful experience. Someone was really, I don't wish that to anyone, but I've survived. And that's the moment that you can cross over this bridge because you see, okay, even if it happens for the next time, that's all right, I can deal with that again and again. It's you're not putting any projections how it's going to be in the future this time. You're just kind of preparing yourself even mentally for this scenario, and you kind of build up your strength. That in the end, like, you're able to go through any any scenarios that come your way. For example, for me, I had to do it at some point, just to accept, oh, I've been through this, I've survived. It taught me something, because it's, this those painful experiences, they are just showing you the reality how it is. And I think it gives you the whole picture. It gives you to another level. Once you don't escape, you just embrace it. Okay, that's one of my life experiences, and let's move on. So I think this processing of the grief and accepting and just not putting it under rug and just going full force in the spirituality, that's, I think that's important. And I remember you were talking with Wolf even yesterday about this spiritual bypassing, which I think that's one of the examples how people are maybe even unconsciously doing it, because it's easier, because it's, you don't have to go to this uncomfortable corner.
Oh, I was about exactly I say about the same words we talked about with Wolf yesterday on there. That is actually the profile. If you look at it, the energy and psychological or emotional side, that is a this runner in the journey. You're running away. Um, it was very good that sharing here personal experience. It was very interesting that you and I got connected in there. Just sharing up here is through our talks was that energy of the universe that comes in here. With this, you can work on it, but it's the same time. If you don't work on it, you're gonna meet the same person again and again and again until you're working on it. And that was at a time that we both understood that that connections we're gonna be working out, and I'm so happy for this and go on with that. And but this exactly escape. We had a chance to escape. We had the chance to say, "Oh no, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna get into this. We're not gonna be for it, and so on." But your spiritual, emotional, and psychological intelligence kicks in together with the evolution. It says like its whisper is like, "This one is gonna work." And talking about the trust. So now you're trusting of these connections more and more because not only you but also the other side works. And I mean, together, both of us, we went through the same stages as the previous soul connections. You think you're gonna escape that? You need to understand that every time you're making an abandonment or somebody abandon you, in there and abandon a soul connections, or however it's in your case, twin flame, soulmate, divine partners, however you want to title it within yourself, or second, third connection, multi twin flame, however you want to do it. Every time when your connections is done deal, you're gonna be starting from a point zero with another person, so you can be review and practice everything that you learned to this point in there. And when you're realizing there's going to be a these realizations, I went too far. And if I have to start it with another person, this is going to be like this, and this. Now the universe brings me the right person, the right situations, the right things in there. And I trusting the universe right now. But I do a one more important thing. I'm trusting with myself because I already know I have the intelligence inside of me, that spiritual, philosophical, psychological, energetic, emotional intelligence that it's combined right now because you unified all this within yourself. That's where the union started within you. Then all this is comes in, and now you're working out. And the more you're working out, the more the trust is built in there. But at the same time that it's that trust is built between us, the actual real healing from the past connections is gonna be happening. Do you know why? Because you don't performing as what the previous connections, the previous harm was done. And now it is the power of the love that it comes in and the trust within the connections that heals, and everything happens in its way. You learn the patience, you learn the compassions the way it is, the real one, not you to wondering if this person loves me or not. You already know. Because inside of you, the growth of the internal peace brings you even the higher level of trust. That higher level of trust, it's connecting you to the third energy, the universe itself, the void within itself. And that combined energy of the two, it comes in, it says, what can we do together? How much can you evolve with this? I'm going to be working with you. Just have patience. And now the trust comes in. And that trust within the new connections is going to comes in. But as long as you did your inner work of the process of unifications within. So that's what I
Mm.
wanted to say. Because yesterday when we talked with Wolf, Wolf was like, I got a chance to go to China, doing all stuff, but I know, and I get another one. I gotta work the same work. If I don't finish it this life, I have to finish it the next life, and the next life, and the next life, and
Mm.
so on and so on. And but when this is attached with the purpose, as you are here as a soul having a human experience, you understand the value of who you are, what did you came here for, and now you understand why you are here as that twin flame experience. You're understanding this. So
Again, I feel like you opened the can of worms again, and I don't know where to begin. But the I think it's a good time to maybe try to clarify why people are trying to label those experiences as false twins, true twins, and real twins. Because as much as I don't want to go to the labels, but maybe there is someone who is kind of in between and doesn't understand. Personally, I don't believe that there's like false twins or real twins. I think it's if you've done your work, you can acknowledge which connection is genuine and which connection is truthful, and that's what we say about the true twin flames. I think some people, what people call true twin, is the person that wants to work with you and is able to acknowledge, even if something is wrong, even if both sides have trust issues, because false twin from the past, it didn't work out. It doesn't mean that they were not truthful connection. They were at some point, but there was something missing. At some point there was the communication got broken. There was one-sided, and it started to diverge. And some person was giving more trust towards the connection, another person was lacking the trust, and all comes down. But I don't know. I think I will be trying to clarify those labels as much as I can. Because maybe it's sometimes it's just easier to put everything to one basket, because it's really one basket. It's just we are evolving in a journey, so we are becoming more true twin flames along our journey. But the next point I want to say about the trust itself, like the trust in the universe, which really helps, is that's the that's the basis. Like, even if maybe a little bit of this personal example again, but I had some fears related to one of the personality traits that I observed in my previous connection, and I was a little bit concerned that, oh my god, the story will be repeating itself, because they are too similar. Those situations that we're playing, those conversations that we are having, it's like copy paste. Doesn't mean I'm going the same road and I will end up the same way. And I'm like, I don't need this. I have my peace. Like, why would I go into this, with the right awareness that I have right now? That cost me a little bit of this mental process. And I just realized one thing, it's only I have control over catching up, when things are going the wrong way. And if I don't try to learn this and really trust my objectivity and my mm, like maybe self-observation, and just being mindful what happens with the connection, you're not losing into in a connection, you're not losing yourself, you're just having this objectivity and you observe, like, are you not putting giving too much as previous time, or is there some imbalance? I realize that I have to learn this with this connection, because otherwise, okay, we can separate, but then I will have to learn it at some point if I really want to learn to trust, really open to someone, and not be afraid that, there will be some mental processes that my mental health will be compromised, for example. And I was like, why don't you trust yourself? Like, one, to trust that you can catch if it goes south. Like, you have to be self-confident enough just to say, okay, like, I filter out those people who are not serving me. I learned this. And on top of that, it gets into this process of trust the universe, because you can see that there is some higher order involved, because it got you connected with someone in the first place. So that's putting this connection with the higher guidance as a first, like, a signpost. I think that helps for sure.
Lorna, I do see our relationship as stepping stones to the next level. I'm so grateful for the journey. I'm learning too much, so much. Yes,
Mm.
that's how we learn. That's how we do. Grande, hi, thank you for being here. Pallavi, thank you for being. Trust and surrender, same thing. Instead of trying to control, exactly. Big time of the trust. It's coming in there. Um, a lot of the people worry about the future of the connection, and they are wondering about what's going to happen. Teaching about in this as myself, inside of me, begin to practice a lot is to trust in the divine timing and trust within the energies and the connections. It's gonna be very interesting to you when you flow with the energies of trust. In there, when you have that pillar inside of you of trust, once you trust in yourself, you're not fooling yourself, you not fantasize yourself, you don't create illusions yourself, you don't lie to yourself because you're living in the present. And that trust with the universe on it, it's gonna help you and establish real trust in the reality itself with your partner. You're gonna be able to see. And as Paulina said, you observe the things inside of it. And when you observe, you are able to see this 50-50 equality of give and take, not pushing your own agenda over your counterpart, not getting in there. If your partner has a war within themselves or they have something within you, like for example, I had some situations within me. Okay, and Paulina is like, hey, you probably have to overcome this. Okay, I'm looking at inside of myself, in there, and so on. And when I overcome, I give it a feedback how to overcome, and it's like, wow, very good. I feel our connection so solid, like a rock. You see that the both sides they do the inner work for the name of the common trust within the connections in there, and that is a that pillar of trust begins to rise up. But when I rise up, it also gets widened, stronger. You build this base of the relationship, like a building a house. You build those pillars and then you put the first ground floor on the top of those pillars there in the ground. One of those pillars is the trust. And when the trust is comes in and you working and you're processing within the connections in there, you're gonna find out how the trust within you and the partner that it's combined in there works with the trust of the evolutions, the new energies that are coming in there. And then everything that you are looking at, they have the like internal knowledges in your subconscious with yourself about a connection. It's gonna begin to work on the 3D because you working on the 3D. You did that performance here. You took that spiritual experience into your human level existence experience inside. So yeah, you have to overcome this. But as an observer, you have to catch your illusions, your fears, and you have to catch your this situations, what's going to happen in the future, because what you're doing currently now, the current present moment in time, it is the cause. And if you're accepting the law of karma, your cause that you're doing it right now is going to have rapid effect into the future. Okay, that will create a cause, but that cause can help you up there to fix it more and more stuff. But at the same time, if you're acting a different way of distort the energies of those fear emotions and those mistrust in there, that's going to create a cause for another mistrust in there until you learn it. It's you, not a partner, not other connections. Maybe another connections, you both have the same thing. You both have to learn in these situations. But right now, you are unified within yourself there. So, yeah, the trust and surrender, they're walking hand by hand. You trust the future and you surrender to what is in the present. Okay. And let go comes in after that. It's like, hey, let go of the past because you ain't gonna moving into this. You surrender to what it is with the trust. So, yeah. Erica, inner peace, all the questions disappear. I feel so good. There you go. I like that. Grande, as long as we are not in balance with ourselves, we will never find that we seek. What we seek is deep within us. Exactly. You attract what you are. You attract what you are. I wasn't looking for a connection. She wasn't looking for a connection. The universe is like, oh, you two don't looking for anybody. Ah, no. You guys are what I was looking for. You trusted, surrender, and let it go to me. So now you gotta trust me. And when we were connected, we had that moments of trust, isn't there? So yeah,
No, there was a moment that we didn't trust anything, just this energy that was bringing us together, especially at this first moments. It's really different, totally different way, creating the twin flames from really those higher dimensions to the lowers. Like I was just observing that energetically we were exactly the same match, or let's say 99, I don't say exactly the same, but 99% of the match in terms of energy, in terms of our journey, in terms of our experiences, development. But on a physical level, on a like a personal level as a humans, I don't think we were similar, but it's so interesting to see how it's becoming more and more, and those energies are working with us. So that's how you create twins. I think that's how I see it. From those higher dimensions up down to the 3D. Uh, but trusting yourself, I think that was the big key word. Trusting in a journey, of course, like evolution. If something stands in front of yourself and you feel this is your milestone, you don't know if that's good for you or bad. Like we cannot predict those futures. Some people have glimpses, but most of us don't. You just have to go with that, and you see, okay, you have something in front of yourself right now. You have some stepping stone to overcome, or you see some issues with that, you have some fears with that. That means that you don't have to run away from it right now. Just observe what's causing those fears, because most of the time, really, like if you go through some trauma, emotional trauma, you will be on the lookout of those red flags even if they don't exist. And especially in those hard moments that was on really on the fence, I just had to study. Like I went and I was reading papers. I was doing, what I do when I don't know answers. I was looking for answers. I was trying to find psychological issues or examples. Like, are my red flags the real thing, or are they really just the memories about someone who is completely different person that Theo is? So that was a lot of this objective research and trying to find the information not in me, because I just didn't trust mm, my feelings in that moment. I knew that I'm kind of reacting based on my previous experience, based on those wounds that I still had. So I went for readings, and I was listening to some psychologists and doing the check based on that, and I found out that most of those things, those examples, for example, how they are saying what is really a red flag, how people are acting. I didn't see it in the connection. It was my mind trying to really see it, because it was, I wanted to protect myself so much that my mind would even create the issues where they were not there. So I think in the process of to heal that, you just have to have a repeated experience. And you really, if you know that you've been engaged in some really hard emotional experience, don't trust your emotions and don't trust your gut feelings. Even that can be tricky, honestly. You really have to find an objective source of information, just to really make sure, if you're not just creating the issues just to protect yourself, just to have an excuse, oh, I'm better running away from this connection because it will be the same. So I don't know, for me that was very helpful, because I just saw that, minds is very tricky, and it would do everything just to avoid any uncomfort based in the past. So
Very interesting topic you open up there, darling. Yeah. You told me kind of, the kind of worms you open up in there. What I was finding within the energy is actually within the people that that comes in there, that there is a few reasons about this process in there. When you kind of like seeing those red flags because you want to see those red flags, because your fear it's projecting it, and you're projecting within the relationship what is not there. Even as you said, your gut feelings is gonna becomes in it, giving you this. And this is what happens because you reach out when you look at it in a subconscious levels, and there you're reaching at that state of evolutions that it's like, wait a minute, what I'm thinking of that. This is not the same person. I don't feel the same energy. But you do one thing, you stop processing emotions, you stop getting negative feedbacks within you, and you're like, let me see on the other side. Where is this coming from? Because I sense that our connections is not like that. There is other conflict. Where is that coming from? And this is how Paulina, when she was explaining this is when some people, oh man, who doesn't want me to talk? Interesting. And talking about this is the moment when some of the people who are runners, they're like, I don't want to deal with my stuff because those are my fears, my projections, my lies, my illusions. People's gonna find those, and I cannot work on this, and I'm gonna run away by not doing the inner work. Is in a subconscious level. That's where this lower energies comes in, and if you listen to those lower energies, the red flags in there, you don't see your own red flags in there. But if the connection is in, you stop, you processing that within yourself, you observe yourself is like, oh, my fears projected it. I think that the past is gonna repeat itself. I'm not gonna run. As we talk about it, there is always a two timelines. You're to doing here now what it is, or you're gonna run away. As a wolf said yesterday for it, and you're gonna find out it's like, oh my god, that's what it was in there. Now I understand. I had to evolve with this, not to listen these fears, this emotions, because those emotions they are based out of that. Now I'm maturing to listen and observe within the reality itself what really is going on, because there is nothing wrong with the energy of the connection. You've seen the difference. There is the two energies exist, the one of those fears and projections that create this broken trust within you. But on the other side, you feel that there is nothing wrong with that. Where is this coming from? And you troubleshooting yourself by you observing, by reading, by communicating, by talking, by have a counselor with someone. You may go to a psychologist if that's your psychology issue. You maybe go look within a spirituality, maybe as something within the energy healing. The energy needs to be healed within yourself. However, it's in your case in there. But that it is this process that goes on. And once you heal that, you believe on the trust, because the trust within the connections brings the trust within you. And then your these lower energies, they fade out because they are false. They're not real red flags. Those are only your projections, your fears from the past. They comes in and they trigger you. Can you be able to overcome your fears and see that that's not it? Do you healing at that? Are you gonna bring in that into that relationship? Because you can bring those fears into the relationship with you, but that exactly time of process is a very important, is a healing, and you don't bring the old experience within the new relationship. You can talk about it with your partner, you can share all those processes, but that's when you do and share it in there. That is a spiritual intimacy, guys. And doing it this, that healing between of you is gonna happen a very good form. It's gonna build even that pillar of trust, strong and white, okay, big, secure. And now you know that security within yourself, adding to the security within the connection itself. So, grande, yeah. And how do we know it is my intuition? Is a topic to bring. It's a topic to bring up. Mind intuition. Okay. All right.
That would be interesting.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about this right now then because it's
No,
related
because
to this.
that's a whole new topic, but
That's
we're
a whole
gonna
new
write it
topic.
down
We're,
definitely.
we're gonna make that. Yeah, we're gonna do something about that for it.
Yeah, because it's not that obvious. Like I thought it's obvious that intuition is always this higher guidance, but sometimes it's not. So like it depends which dimension we are talking, but
From
I learned
what level you
even
are.
yeah. Yeah,
It,
sometimes it's not that this deep voice. Sometimes your intuition is really your projection. So or so yeah, definitely. Thanks for the suggestion.
Grande, yeah.
About
No, go ahead,
yeah,
Arank.
I wanted to continue about this trust because when we were talking, it's really like a trusting yourself and also being, just rewriting this experience. The only way to heal the broken trust is just to trust again and take this risk. But with this new perspective, with this new knowledge that um having belief in yourself, that you can go through that. At some point you have to take the risk, and there is no such thing as guarantee, because for people who've been in the connection that they had put all the trust and they could see them getting married, having children, and just building houses, and then it just disappeared. This is the lesson for you. You can never be sure about the future, but it's just having this in mind. It doesn't, if you operated the proper way, if you navigated the correct way, instead of having fears about it, you just recognize, of course, like there is no guarantee in this world, but if you know that you have a partner, you can talk about those things and know that you're on the same page, and you start building dreams together. you know those, I think, especially at the beginning, those fears may stay in the background, but they will be fading. As Dio said, those are illusions that will be becoming more and more silent. And instead you will be, of course, like at some point you cannot build anything if you don't have a trust in your partner. So you will be getting yourself out of this cage, because honestly, that's why I was getting a little bit tired of this. I could sense that, I don't want to have issues with those trusts. Like I have to be able to live and build connections with people, no matter that that my previous experiences were painful. So I realized this kind of limitations I had. So okay, I was like, I have to deal with that. I have to heal this, because I cannot move forward. Like how can you start really talking about serious relationship if you cannot trust each other? So, as Dio said, just being able to open up with your partner, that's a big green flag, I would say. That's how you prove that someone is ready to talk about those things. And that's your chance for corrective experience. Because, many people, when I was just seeing some posts, for example, they have some issues within the connection. They are afraid what their counterpart is thinking, and they wouldn't even ask them. They keep having it as a separate, they try to process the entire situation by themselves, and there is no equal give and take in this case too. They keep it, and they try to solve the connection just on their own. So I think, if anything, like, really, those are important topics. Like, if you have issues with this, like, you have to talk about it with your partner, not to assume, oh, someone is runner, so I have to deal with that on my own, because after that he will come back. So I think that's a big stepping stone, which makes the solid foundations.
Yeah, I'm giggling here, melting chocolate for it, but you know how that goes. Talking about when you were talking and you begin to talk about it is when you talk to your partner, that trust that is gonna be built. You talk to your partner, and the trust is built when your partner doesn't judge you, doesn't point fingers at you, doesn't guilt you, guilt tripping, shame you, and anything like this. Your partner understands you and is there next to you. Is like, okay, I can look and both look at what this issue is. Let's see what this is, and let's work it out together. But if it's your personal issue, and both understand that one of the person has issues in there, the other person understands that, and the trust of this moment of you sharing the depth within yourself, those illusions, those fears that you have about the connections, and you understand all this, and everything within the journey and so on. That trust turns into love, guys, because you're healed from the past. You healed from the old paradigms. You healed from the old ways of controlling and wanting and needing and operating from different sources. Now you're building the brand new relationship, the interdependence relationship, but that trust, when he can share the deep stuff that goes on within yourself with the partner, and you are understood, you're not judged, you're not ashamed, that trust brings that positive within connections, because right now the both part of the connections, the people, the couples, they understand what's going on within the connection. Okay, because you feel the energies, you feel that something is not maybe the one guy it's 49, the other one it's 51. Maybe the one guy is gonna be 46, the other is gonna be 54. But all of a sudden this balance of 100 is gonna be right there. But when the outside interferences begins, there is no anymore 100 in there. There is something outside, and then you're gonna begin to look at it and situations. Because if you thinking about the past, you taking that 10% of you focus on the past, and there now the connections is 90. It's not fully complete, and the universe tells you this is what the problem is. Bring those 10% back in there, so it can be that for it. But the trust within the new connections and the working with the energies is going to be able to help you to understand in the future about the real work, and the trust within the universe, that the universe is going to bring what you need in life without you having a fears. But that is what's happened afterwards. You're trusting on the universe. The universe is going to bring me what I need for the next stage. The universe is going to provide me for the next stage. All I have to do is here and now. The next stage, when it comes in, the universe is going to know where to step in. And you have that blind trust. And that's what the universe wants from you in there, is to trust it, but work on what the universe, that evolution is giving you at the current present moment of time. Because there's going to be some issue. There may be a good, bad, or whatever issues in the future. But you need to understand they're coming to you for what? You to mature. You to mature psychologically, you to mature emotionally, you to mature with the energies, you to understand the power of the energies exchange within you and a partner, you to understand the energies exchanges with the universe, you to understand your philosophy that you're telling within yourself, you to mature in there, in you spiritually, you to mature in the universe itself is who you are. And then that trust of all this journey is going to be helpful to you, and you're going to be internally in peace and happy. Different happiness, guys, when your soul is happy. So if you guys have so many questions, you can ask now.
We have a comment.
Okay. Mm.
Yes, past experiences prevent many from living in the now, and that's true. Um, Especially that's regarding this opening up for the new things, like the second part of the question we want to talk about. It's at some point, if some new connection comes to you, you have to start collecting the experiences, collecting the memories from this person, collecting just some memories about how you navigate in this connection, if it's bad, if it's healthy, or if it's balanced. And I think it's the more of those experiences you bring to your awareness, that's how you build also this trust. People are talking, even Dio was mentioning that this blind trust, but I think still we're humans, so we need to have this solid examples for us in order to feel safe enough in the connection. If you can, the more memories you have about the issues, for example, the problems that came that came up, and then we were able to solve it, like that's how you make this solid foundation, because you see, oh, I've never experienced anyone like that would allow me to go through those difficult things together, and we were open, we were talking. And that's how you can start building, if anything, like let's say projections for the future, based on the really true experiences you had with someone, instead of projections from the past because it happened with some completely different person and you didn't even reach that state. Because most of those connections from the twin flames, they are intense, but they don't go far. They end up in this runner chasing dynamic, and they die out if people are not ready to go further. So if the connection are proper and you are constantly evolving, like obviously each of the connections that you're gonna have, they will be higher and more conscious, more aware. So I think it will be less of this runner chase and dynamic. It can still happen at the beginning, because there will be still those things can be over, they have to be replayed, as we were talking with, for whatever reason, those soul connections, that's their characteristic. But you're just reaching higher, faster to this higher states in which you can really have a complete um, dialogue, about those things, because that's your experience from the journey, and that's how it how why it makes sense, to open up for the new connections. That, if you got separated with your twin, with the person you consider as your twin, let's say, don't don't be afraid to experiment a little bit with the other connections that the universe wants to bring to your experience, because this is not the end of the world. And it's just really accepting even separation as the ultimate thing. With, okay, this door is closed, I need to learn how I can have a fulfilling life without this person, because otherwise you're kind of this prisoner of this one single connection. And it's just, if anything, along the journey, the one thing I don't want to have is limitation. So if someone tells me that my life will be limited to one person and my whole happiness depends on that single person, I don't see a freedom in there. So that's what's challenging your belief system, because you will say, oh, I want to make myself happy. Like, what's blocking it? Oh, this is this limiting belief that I can have only one twin flame, and I'm a slave of this single decision depending on single person. So I think, if anything, we are really responsible for opening up for the new things, but we want to have this mindset that, I need my freedom. Like, I deserve to be happy. Why someone is telling me that I can be happy only with one person? Like, this is, let me try to believe in something else. So I think that's a little bit of work to do, to expand a little bit,
Challenge for
just to not
people.
be afraid. Yeah, but also to challenge your belief systems that, we are fluid. If you're on a spiritual journey, you can see how fluid it is and how fast you're just catching about new ideas. Oh my God, there's some star seeds, some whatever ideas people are having once they start spiritual awakening. And there's just more and more and more of this. And at some point you realize that it's just so flexible. You can believe in anything you want and you can just really play with whatever's serving you so you are happy. You don't
Yeah.
feel a slave or you're not in a cage. Mm.
Uh, Very good energy came in when you were talking about this only one in there. And all that energy, when I look at it right now from the higher standpoint in there, the only one it comes in from the this um, old paradigm in there. You married, you have only one husband, only one wife, and so on and so on in there, because it creates. If you look at it in depth, I'm here. I'm going to be talking about this little bit. You're depending on that one because you're depending on an outside source to make you happy. Doesn't matter if that is your twin flame, that is your husband, wife, karmic, and so on and so on. That think of codependency in there, an outside source inside of it creates this. When you learn the self love and you're respecting yourself by the same way your respect towards yourself it comes out towards others in there, then you understand what love is. Because of depending of the one without you become the one, it's codependency, and all that leads to all the drama and the trauma you can handling in the world, and to the old issues that you want to have go down the road. And it's ultimately is you have to become this. Okay. You have to become how it's connecting within the trust. You trust your soul. As Paulina said, you trust it in the energies. You have to look at it, what that comes to your life. Okay? It comes to your life. Erica, I experiencing my twin flame doing the same way, but it's funny. And I like it because it's health, maybe heart, health, or healed. Okay, healed. The same auto experience with the right energies between us. People ask, what is this between you two? Ah, here's the confirmations, if you want, for a connections between two people. When an outside sources comes in and tells you how the connection is and how they see you as the same energy, they know, they feel it, they understand it. There's always gonna be, if you're looking for confirmations about I am or he is, and so on and so on, looking at an outside source. But don't go out and search for him and ask for it. Wait, outside sources come to you as a confirmations there. Pallavi, isn't trust and surrender a feminine energy? I feel that being a woman that may affect us even more. When I don't trust, it feels like I'm closed, black, vulnerable as feminine strength. Um, this is, I think this is gonna be a good topic, but I'm gonna mention a few things there, Pallavi, in there. Uh, there is a slight difference within. They're all interconnected. The trust, surrender, and let go in there for it. What is a surrender, though? A surrender is about you to accept the reality as it is without your anything in there. But if you don't have a trust, you can't be able to surrender your will, your projections, and allowing the things that comes to you. They're not feminine or masculine. Those energies, they don't have. They are combined. If you need feminine side to use your soft side to surrender in there, you gotta have the masculine side of the courage to surrender, which is a masculine in that point. Surrender as a to it, it is you let go of the old in there. You don't fighting that anymore. You surrender to these new energies that comes in and tells you. While the trust is more with in I can understand. The trust comes in as a internal belief that when you process within the reality, it's have that security in there. With knowing there is no security on this earth, it's only an opportunity. And the only way you can find that trust is by doing it. And when you do it, because a lot of the people they are talking, oh, this, all that, and so on and so on. But the trust is built when it's done. The trust requires actions there. And the actions proves the truth. And the truth is built and creates the trust. While surrender, it is more about let go of the old ways. And that's how surrender and let go, they are interconnected within there.
Oh, but I
So,
think in if we talk about the energies like feminine, masculine, probably that will be more feminine. Like just talking, trying to answer from a little bit different side because we are sometimes talking that masculine is just controlling and acting and just trying to do it their way, and feminine is more like going with the flow and just really accepting the change. Not you don't have to have everything solid and not changing, um, but really just allowing those changes to come and surrender to them. So I think in this case, I would say probably if people are having trust issues, that's their feminine side. That something has to be healed because they are lacking this masculine strength. Because the masculine power doesn't need to have people around. They are good on their own. They have to learn vulnerability per se, because that's sometimes when they are men, they are not vulnerable enough, so they even lack this balance. But I can see how maybe even by building your masculine side and just trusting yourself and just believing in your strength, you can balance out your feminine side, which is has lack of trust sometimes because it was wounded. So you can see how it's really about balancing those two energies, and sometimes it's about working on one part, let's say masculine part, to make it stronger, not necessarily focusing on what's lacking from this feminine side. That's
I wanted to say something about that as well. Um, okay, if you look at it in there, it says I'm closed, blocked in there. So if you're closed and blocked, that's mean that inside of you, you have to look this vulnerability as a feminine within yourself. Because if you're operating from, as a Paulina said, as this masculine energy, you have to maybe work on this feminine strength that the feminine has. Okay, and when those two energies are merging within you, and they're gonna be able to help you to create the balance. And you need to understand the balance is a strength. It is a force that combines two forces working with you, within you, for you to evolve. This is why you bring this masculine, feminine, positive, negative, good, bad under one roof. Balance within a force. That force that is the driving the evolutions there. You can't stop that force of evolution. Whatever you're not gonna be doing this lifetime, you'll come back and learn it the next time life. You cannot do it here on Earth. You're gonna be in some other places that it's more high level of existence that helps you the next level of evolution. As long as you do one thing, you're bringing heaven on earth. You're basically being that spiritual experience in a 3D manifestations and there in a 3D life, or is in your case in there. But when you try to manipulation for manifestations and you're trying to go a different route, and there is no trust within you. You're trying to do things, and then that's where the things go south in there. So, Grande, others don't control how I feel, only if mind controls me. I, you have that power of what you're putting within your mind. But now, since you have the spiritual intuitions within you, not just intuitions as a human experience, I'm talking about the spiritual intuitions that it's based off what the energy feels, how you feel the gravity, how you feel the connection, and you feel the other intuitions that coming from a human based experience. Okay. Now you have the choice. What kind of informations you gonna plug in into your mind? Are you gonna be believing the new spiritual experience, the spiritual intuitions that you have within yourself that tells you there is nothing wrong with the connection, there is nothing wrong with the person, there is nothing that this is little different because you sense differently. Okay, you're now operating of a survival mode and a fears and so on as your human-based experience right now. You're operating as a high level awakened soul on earth that sends the proper stuff at the current present moment of time in this level of these positions. But you begin to understand that whatever you had it as a human experience, you also had it as a spiritual experience, but you never build it. This is why it's important the inner work to build all this in there. And now the spiritual intuitions, it comes in and it's like, hey, what are you doing? You catch yourself. This is how you catch yourself without spiritual intuitions inside of you. Now you understand your power as a soul. Now you trust it. Where is the fears now? There is no fears. It's only illusions, guys. And then you understand you that things within your mind. Your mind is screwing up the things down there, but you have the power within you. What you gonna be plugging in? Because if you look at a DOS could be a two USBs. The one is truth, the other is false with virus in there. And you take that stick, plug in your computer that virus in there, right? That's how you are, like in a computer. But if you take the truth in there, you plug it in, your computer gets upgrade and it's more powerful. You have a new program to operate your program of spiritual intuitions. There's going to be a different topic of the future, I believe, in there
Mm.
for and so on. So yeah, don't control. Intuition for me is knowledge that is not up for discussion. You can challenge if that's the truth. You always challenge everything that comes to you from now that point. It's like, is that true? Each one it is. Because it is about that when you find something, you look at it. If it's a positive, you look at it also the negative side, and you're like, what is the balance that is in there, and so on. But when you begin to receive in there, you don't in there. Those things are not up for the discussions because you understand it. You are the receiving end on that point. But yeah, there is some
Mm.
things that, of course, you have to challenge everything because evolution is gonna bring you because every level of your experience and as a spirituality, as an energy, as a advanced human soul that has a human experience, in here, the truth will change for you. Every stage of evolution brings a different truth for you, and the more you
Mm.
go, if everything is built right, the proper level, the more you go, the better it gets, and that's how you know you evolve because the evolution creates better things. Better lifestyle, better love, better understanding, better you, better relationship, better examples. That's what they want, heaven on earth.
Mm. Yeah, but it's that intuition. It's really tricky. Like I used to trust my intuition like once, and from that was my number one. You know, if I don't know what to do, just wait for this for this feeling, if it feels right, if it feels wrong. But I just saw that, I was having fears towards something that was, in the end, it was good. It was just required me to be a little bit uncomfortable because I had to expand. So sometimes I just realize, as if we had intuitions on different levels. There is intuition that tries to protect you from this emotional shocks, let's say, or emotional discomfort. But there's also this spiritual intuition that it's guiding you towards evolution, because sometimes you just have to go through some not easy experiences, or sometimes you just have to build this trust and go against this. Even it the more I kind of we are connected and just working on my spirituality, it looks like this intuition, it starts to become like a layers of intuitions. There is something that's really purely on a human level, and it's just, oh, I don't like to do it, it's not comfortable physically, I won't do it. Or something tells me in my gut that it's bad, so I better listen to it. But then the more I started question my mind sometimes, that sometimes that's how we can even get tricked. I started looking for more external sources, just this objective knowledge. So that, I don't know, I used to listen to my intuition like very much, but right now it's like, is this not like some protection mechanism that my emotional body tries to avoid some experiences, just even too much, overcautious. Mhm. And
Intuition.
there is inner knowing. Like right now, I have a sense that there is this deep voice that always tells you what you have to do. And sometimes they tell you what things that you don't want to listen. They will say, oh, you have to move. Or, oh, you have to, whatever, you have to buy this, or you have to go there or there, and you don't feel like going there. But this is this kind of like deep guidance that we have. And the intuition will tell you, but it's cozy in here, it's better to stay here because it's safe. Your human based intuition, because it will be operating from this, how it feels safe in the moment. So definitely that's topic for discussion, I shouldn't be going deeper.
You
But can I just one
sure,
I
sure.
wanted
Go
just
ahead,
to share
baby.
this, because I just reminded when you were talking about it, like I remember even when I was talking still about this kind of like trust issues, when I was having this turmoil and being on the fence and thinking what I should do, go in the connection or maybe just step back because it's too much familiar. I think I just want to close it for now and just be on my own because it's safe. And I remember standing in front of the window, just a window, but in front of the mirror and looking at my reflection. I was like, what are you doing? Really, this intuition was like saying, or this, let's say, inner guidance or higher self, whatever. It was really saying, like asking myself, why you're doing this drama? Like why you're afraid? Like, come on, like let's not stop here. Like let's progress further. So that was for me a kind of like this nudge to really follow. Let's see where it's going, and see where really is the issue. The issue was with lack of trust in me. It was just funny, to stand in front of the mirror and just ask yourself, what are you doing? Why you're really trying to escape, run away? Mm.
Yeah, you have to go through this runner
Mm-hmm.
situations and then there.
Mm-hmm.
But to kind of like of course, open the can of worms. In there, you're gonna find out that the total intuition is actually combined intuition in there with you. You have intuition on psychological level. You have intuitions on energy level, an emotional level, on a spiritual level. In there, you have intuitions within a universal level. When a you, intuition's telling you what the universe happened. When are you reading between the lines? When I see a post or I see a car numbers or however it within you, okay? And you're gonna find that the intuitions is something very powerful in there. But when you match that intuition, however, in your cases, with the flow and energies, the flow of the journey that you are within, and that intuition's matching. the same vibrations of your journey and pull in moving ahead. That's when you find your total intuition inside of you. That's when you should listen that part inside of it. But that is a yeah, little advanced, but yeah, just getting out to mention it. So I think it's ourselves we are running from. Yeah. Well, a lot of the people are running from doing the inner work. They are running from the
Mm.
fears and
Yeah, you can be spiritual advanced and on the journey, and already after several soul connections, you can still be runner. But it's different when you have to face it. Because even as we were talking, even if you start those soul connections, even if you've already learned your lesson from those ignition states and runner chaser, you will still be faced with this connection. And even in our connection, if anything, I would say like I was the runner at some point. But since I remembered, that running doesn't help that much, I saw what I'm trying to do. I was like, okay, why you try to run away? If anything, you should keep your connections open and let them dissolve on its own. So you see, it's funny how as much knowledge as you're getting with the connections, you still will be facing the same issues until you balance out those energies.
and here
Mm.
is the trust another side. That moment that she wanted to run away, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna chase you. That's all I told her. You wanna run, you're free, okay? But I'm not chasing because I know that chasing is not right. The chasing is codependency. And I had that trust in the universe that it comes in. It says like, you're not chasing this one. This one, you're not chasing anything. No. You are stable as a rock here. Stay with that. Let her figure out what she wants to run from it. What she needs to face. She has to figure this out. This is how you're gonna heal your part of being a chaser. Something belongs to you is coming back. You let the bird free, and when it comes back to you, it's yours. But you gotta have that trust, guts, power, courage, faith, understanding, belief, and love doing this. I didn't went out to her. Oh, come on, everyone abandoning me and so on. Now you're gonna run as well, or come on, what the hell did I did something wrong, or the worst case scenario, you should, you're in connection with me, you're making fun out of me in the whole world, and so on and so on. No, there was no judgment. There was balance at that moment. Oh, I told her, just like if you want to run, that is your issue. Is looking at there, but I'm gonna be staying here. I'm not going anywhere. Have that trust, and this is how you trust the universe because this was different. I wasn't like the previous connections. It wasn't the previous energy. I was at peace because I was at peace within me. I had that peace that either or, within or without, it's gonna be what it's meant to be. And it is what it is. And if it is feeling like she wants to run, it is what it is. But it's my choice how I'm gonna be taking that energy within me. But we had to go through it. We knew it. We went through this journey before. We know what that's going in there. But after you crossing that bridge, you cross all those stages within the twin flames journey as a couple in there because everything is individual there, guys. As she said, she had to face herself in the mirror, right? I had to face myself as this masculine energy is in there. Okay? But that is the trust within yourself. You practice it, and the universe is like, okay, I know what's going on. And then that unhealed same experiences before. It comes in and he was like, I did the same mistake before. Why should I repeat it now? No, that's different. I feel different. And now that new energy of evolutions is actually helping you. It's kind of like giving you a hand. It's like, come on up, keep on going with this. That is the trust because it's the new energy that comes in, the new connections that it's coming in. It's going to be different, hopefully, because you did your inner work. But before that, we did the inner work within ourselves. That's what was different for it. So,
Mm.
all right. Well, I want to say if you guys have so many questions, of we can talk. If not, I want to say thank you guys for coming in. Darling, do you have anything to say? You can say.
Yeah, I will just read the comment from Grande Spiritual Warriors. And we are all warriors here. Like there's no, we all have our lessons, and it's just some people can progress faster, some people slower, and I like to recognize that without those kind of pressures that you have to try to convince people of your truth, or people having those things wrong way, they misunderstood. There is no such thing as a misunderstanding on this journey. If someone tells you that my inner guidance tells that that's the case, you just let it go. You just don't judge. There's just really opening up for this. People are having so many different examples and experiences on this journey, and just sharing. Like for me, this is just, it's beautiful how we can exchange information. I was happy to see Wolf coming to talk about how they had it in their journey, and I'm really hoping to have more people just coming and sharing. It's getting easier because I think that's how you just help people to get this new mindset, to get this new belief system, just to challenge themselves. Hmm. Especially today, there will be good things coming.
Yep, it's a good things coming, especially today, guys. I feel like war happens in the mind. Yes, the internal war in
Hmm.
the mind.
Oh, yesterday was very intense in terms of mind wars. I got exhausted. Um, yeah, so sometimes if you cannot seem to find a resolution, I think you just have to let it go, and solutions will come.
They always present itself
Hmm.
as long as you have the patience. Okay, there's a lot of other things going on with this, but
Mm.
yeah. All right. So if you
Yeah, so
guys,
hopefully,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. If
So
you have any questions, just ask. Hopefully, it will help you to just get this trust again. And if anything, really, you have to trust yourself. If there is some trust issues because you trust the connection will not work out, try to see why you're afraid of it, and what really would happen. Like even if it happens, you can see from another side. If you don't take a risk, that means that you will stay in the same spot. So at some point, there is no such thing as having clarity. Like people always can let you down, but that's part of the journey. You just have to believe that this time is different, and you start building this proofs, like tiny proofs that you have by talking to each other and just by going through those experiences. I think that's the only case, the only way to really correct these bad experiences from the past and start something new, something fresh, the new way, and see
healthy,
to the next, just yeah, reach the next steps.
healthy way.
Mm.
Exactly. Yep. But look at the trust in you guys. And with trust, the more you work and the more the other side works with you, builds that trust. And there, you are gonna find out how much that trust turns to love, what the real love in that. Okay? I wish you all of you to be that within you and trust yourself. Love yourself first, and all that comes in within you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be love, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks everyone, thanks for your comments and suggestions for the topics. It's awesome, can't wait to talk about it. Bye guys.